Topkapi Palace is one of the most emblematic and most visited spots in Istanbul, but is it actually worth visiting, or is it just an overhyped tourist trap? In this video I'm breaking it all down, the price, the experience, and my honest opinion as someone who lives here in Istanbul. So if you are ready, let's get into it. Topkapi Palace sits on Istanbul's historic peninsula, one of the oldest corners of the city, wrapped on three sides by the Sea of Marmara, the Bosphorus, and the Golden Horn. The construction began in 1460, just a few years after Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror took the city, but it never really stopped. Sultan after sultan added new buildings, courtyards, and annexes, and over the centuries, all those layers grew into the palace complex you see today. For nearly 400 years, this was the heart of the empire, where the Ottomans governed, studied, and created. Then, in 1924, only months after the Republic of Turkey was founded, Topkapi Palace opened its doors as a museum, the first of the Republican era. In today's video, I'm taking you inside, the areas that only recently opened to visitors, and the highlights you cannot miss. So let's start with one of the most important points for this museum, which is the price for Topkapi Palace. So currently, as of July of 2026, the price per person for a combined ticket, which includes the Topkapi Palace, the Hagia Irene, and the Harem, is 2,750 Turkish liras per person. This is for foreign tourists, and I will be leaving here on the screen the equivalent in euros. This museum is included in the Museum Pass Istanbul and Museum Pass Türkiye. That means that if you decide to purchase any of these two passes, you don't have to purchase an extra ticket to visit this palace. Now, how about where you can purchase the tickets for the Topkapi Palace? There are only two ways, and the first one will be directly from the ticket office only on the date on your visit. And actually you cannot buy them beforehand or some days before your visit. You cannot, for example, in this case for the official website, they don't offer that benefit. So basically you just have to buy them directly from the office ticket on the same day of your visit. Or the second option will be only through third-party websites online. But as I have been repeating over and over again in my previous videos about other museums like Hagia Sophia and Basilica Sistine, is that for these companies, you need to be very careful for a few reasons. The first one is that many of them might not even be legit, so you are at a risk of getting scammed. So of course we want to avoid them. And secondly, even if they are legit, let's suppose that everything is fine, but the tickets will be much more expensive than buying them directly from the ticket office. And of course it is because they need to have some profit. They also charge for commissions. So also think about that, because let's already remember that the tickets in general for the museums in Istanbul and in Turkey are already quite expensive. So if you purchase them through these third-party websites, you will be paying even more. So currently for Topkapi Palace, let's say it's like $60 to $70 probably. So you will be paying maybe around $80, $85. So I mean, that's quite a lot for a museum. That is why, as a local that has been living here in Istanbul for the past 10 years, my only recommendation, if you want to save some money and if you want to be on the safe side, always purchase the tickets directly from the ticket office, from the ticket booths, on the same day of your visit. That's the best option. You can visit this museum from 9 in the morning till 5 p.m. and it is closed on Tuesdays. And what will be the best moment to visit the Topkapi Palace? Well, I will tell you as a local that if you visit during the high season or the peak season here in the city for tourism, which goes basically from mid-May till maybe the beginning of October and of September usually. So during that time, obviously, as most of the main monuments here in Sultan Ahmed, including the Topkapi Palace, are some of the most visited places of the city. So of course, during this time of the year, the museum will be much more crowded, there will be more group tours, and also there will be many more lines to enter the palace. That is why if you want to visit it, you can do it as soon as it opens, as early as possible. So if it opens at 9, you can start the visit around 10 in the morning, so you can also enjoy it thoroughly, and you don't have to be among all the tours, and because sometimes it can get really crowded. And also keep in mind that if there are some cruise ships docking in Istanbul by that time, that sometimes we can even have 3 huge cruise ships at the same time docking in Istanbul, that can make even the Sultanahmet area and every monument here in this area also much more crowded and you can be waiting in line much longer. So that is why you can do it as early as possible, or another option will be doing it maybe 2-3 hours before it closes. So if it closes around 5 p.m., you can start your visit maybe around 3 o'clock. By that time, most of the groups of the tours will be gone already, because usually they start early in the morning and they start the visit to these palaces as early as possible as well. So you can have those two options. And if you visit Istanbul during the low season, which is the best one in my opinion, which usually goes, let's say, from mid-October till maybe end of March, that will be usually like the low season here in the city. That will be the best season to visit and my recommended one. Even when my family comes to Istanbul to visit me, usually they choose those dates, those months, especially January, February, because yes, it's true that it can be cold and some days quite cold, but to be honest, we can enjoy the places and the monuments much better. So if you're coming during that time, you don't have to worry that much, because there will be very little lines or maybe not even lines. So you will be lucky in that way, and you can visit any time of the day. Can you skip the line to visit Topkapi Palace, as for example with Hagia Sophia? Unfortunately, they don't have the benefit in this museum to skip the line. However, if you are on a tour, including a private tour, there is the benefit that already the tour agencies, they can indeed get these tickets in advance. So for example, by the time when you visit the Topkapi Palace, you don't have to line up to purchase the tickets. So if you are on a tour, you can actually enter the palace directly without waiting in line. The only line that you might be waiting, especially if you visit during the high season, will be for the checkpoint to enter the Topkapi Palace. But no one can skip that line, because it's a checkpoint. You need to leave your things so they can check them from the machine, from the X-ray machine. So that is why you cannot skip that one. But when it comes to skipping the line for the ticket office, you can do that.
And if you would like to learn more about this amazing museum and many other incredible spots in Istanbul and Turkey, you can check our private tours and itineraries at remindertour.com. We specialize in private tours, and over the last 3 years we have hosted thousands of amazing guests from all over the world, people who got to experience this city and the country like a true local. We offer circuits that cover everything from the most iconic highlights to the hidden gems you won't find in any guidebook. Whether you want to explore the city's must-sees or discover the spots the locals actually love, we have something for you. We also offer food tours where you'll get to taste the absolute best flavors Istanbul has to offer. And if you're interested, you can even do that tour with me. To get in touch, just send us an email or a WhatsApp message. You'll find all the details in the description box and pinned comment, and our team will get back to you right away with all the information and a quote. And because we love taking care of our followers, if you book a tour with us, just mention the code BEAT and we'll have a little surprise waiting for you.
And lastly, and before we enter into the palace and I start showing you everything inside, how long do you need to consider to visit this palace? Well, this palace is massive. In fact, even one full day is not even enough to visit this palace thoroughly. But you need to consider at least 2 to 3 hours, and that is if you also want to visit the harem, because the harem, that's another extra section from the palace. It is inside the palace, but that also takes around 1 hour. So the palace itself, if you want to see only the highlights, it might take 2 hours plus 1 more for the harem. So I will suggest to consider at least 2 to 3 hours of your day to visit this palace, and that is only for the highlights.
A free audio guide is available in 15 languages. You can grab it from this kiosk or just scan the QR code. You'll also find toilets in several of the courtyards, plus cafes and small snack kiosks scattered around. Trust me, you'll want them. This place is enormous, and at some point you are going to need a coffee and a place to sit down. Let's start with the first courtyard, the largest garden in the complex and the outermost layer of the palace. This was the one part of Topkapi Palace where ordinary people could enter.
During daylight hours, the gates were open and citizens of the Ottoman Empire came here to witness ceremonies, funerals, military parades, moments the empire wanted its people to see. And every Friday, this place filled up for the procession. The Sultan, his guards, his ministers, his highest ranking officials, all of them passed through here on their way to prayer. Imagine standing where you are standing now, watching that go by. Here, you'll also find the Hagia Irene, one of the oldest churches in the city, built on a site of worship that goes back to the earliest days of Constantinople. Here's what makes it unusual. After the conquest, Hagia Irene was never converted into a mosque. Instead, it spent centuries as a storehouse, an armory, tucked away inside the palace walls and largely forgotten. Today it's a museum, and the good news is it's included in your Topkapi Palace ticket. For today's tour, we have Zeynel, a professional guide who will walk us through the palace's highlights, including the new additions you won't want to miss.
So we are at the third courtyard of the Topkapi Palace right now. The Topkapi Palace is kind of complex, which was started to build in 1461 until 1857. They added many buildings to the palace, so we cannot directly say that it was built in 1461 or it was built at the 16th or 17th century. They added many things in the different centuries to the palace. So behind of me that you can see the Ahmed III library, and we are at the third courtyard as I told you. There are totally 4 courtyards at the palace. The first one was for the security section. At the second courtyard there is a kitchen and the harem entrance. At the third courtyard there's a holy relics jewelry section, cloth section, and also the library behind of me that you can see. And at the fourth courtyard we have the nicest view of the city, where you can see the pavilions and the Bosphorus view. The tower that you can see over there that we call exactly as a justice tower, it resembles, it reflects to the power and the justice of the Sultan, so that's why they call it as a justice tower. Let's say 100 years ago, that was very easy to see that tower from every part of the city, so that's why it was reflected to the justice of the Sultans. So we are at the Imperial Council of the Ottomans, which we can say exactly as a parliament. So anytime that they would like to have any meeting, which was mostly happening on Tuesday and Friday, they were coming here. So as you can see, there is no chair. They were sitting on the sofas that is called divan. The Grand Vizier, Prime Minister, was sitting in the middle, and his helpers, ministers, embassies, consulate was sitting next to each other. Where is Sultan? Sultan was behind the window, so you can see the window over there. Sultan was listening everything behind the window. He was not just joining here. And any time that there is something that he doesn't like it, he just knocks the door and he meets with the Prime Minister, the other room, where he can speak with him privately. And people who sits here, ministers, Prime Minister, they always speak him carefully. Why? Because they didn't know, or they never ever seen that Sultan was over there or not. But to be more, let's say, carefully, they were always speaking much way better. Every sultan had their own signatures. Behind of me that you can see 2 squares. One is very pale, another one is very bright. The pale one is related to old sultan, and the new one, more bright, is related to newer sultan. And the red written just up to me, it is written that La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah, which means God is the greatest and Prophet Muhammad is his helper. We are at the second courtyard right now, and behind of me that you can see the Gate of Felicity. The reason that we call it a Gate of Felicity, celebrations, funerals, the throne changes, or let's say most of the celebrations exactly was happening behind of me at the gate that we call exactly as a Gate of Felicity.
This is the library of Sultan Ahmed III, built in 1719. Not just a place to keep books, this was the intellectual heart of the court, where science, theology, and art were studied and preserved.
We're at the third courtyard right now, and behind of me that you can see the crowd. This is the most visited part of the palace, which is the jewelry section. What we can see inside the jewelry section, one of the most important things that we can see inside, which is called spoonsmaker diamond. One of the biggest given-shaped diamond of the world, which has 86 carats, Topkapi dagger, some thrones of the sultan, special clothes, and especially another diamonds which is related to royal family members that we can exactly see inside of here. They were all giving as a present to the sultans to show the power and
This is one of the new additions inside the palace, the imperial clothing. Here we can find stunning clothing worn by sultans and the princes throughout history. And here's why they survived. There was a tradition called bohchalama. These precious clothes were carefully bundled up in cloth, labeled, and stored away in the Endurun treasury. That's the only reason we can stand here and look at them today. Also, for those ones who really like this series, Muhtashem Yusil, I want to show you that there is a ceremonial kaftan which was worn by Prince Bayezid or Şehzade Bayezid, who was one of the sons of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent and Hürrem Sultan. Look at this beauty. This is the ceremonial kaftan.
we are at the Turkish bath of the Selim II. Who is Selim II? Selim II is the son of the Sultan Suleiman and the Roxalana, which we call as Hürrem Sultan. So Selim II was built the Turkish bath, which is behind and under me. And while he was walking down to Turkish bath, he fell down here, and after that he lost his life in exactly somewhere here.
The fourth courtyard is where the palace opens up. From here, you get the Bosphorus, the Sea of Marmara, the whole Asian side of the city, and if you look carefully, a stretch of the old Constantinople walls.
Right now we are at the garden of the palace, very close to the outside of the palace, and this part, which is called as a watch or clock collection of the sultans or the royal family members. Many people skip this part and they never ever have a look at the watches and the clocks, which is one of the nicest collection of the watches. We're gonna have a look at it inside.
Right before you leave the palace, don't miss the clock museum. It only opened to the public less than a year ago. Most of these clocks came to Istanbul as diplomatic gifts sent from France, Germany, and England to the Ottoman sultans. Some of them are among the rarest timepieces anywhere in the world, and the craftsmanship is extraordinary. And after we finish visiting this museum, I want to go to the main point. Is it really worth visiting Topkapi Palace in 2026, especially considering that the ticket price is 2,750 liras per person? Well, I will tell you the yes. I mean, it's the price for this museum currently is quite high. I will not deny that. It's very, very high. But I do also consider that if it's your very first time here in the city and if you have the budget, it's really worth visiting. Why? Because also let's remember that this specific museum was very important during the Ottoman times. Basically, the Ottoman Empire was controlled and was managed from here, as you already heard from all the explanations from our tour guide Zeynel. This palace was very important for the Ottoman history, and also you can learn about how the Ottoman sultans and the Ottoman dynasty, his family, used to live inside these premises. So I do consider that it's really worth a visit if you have the budget and if it's your first time in Istanbul, only for one time. So now it's your turn. Let us know in comments below, because it is also very important for us to read your thoughts, and also other travelers who are visiting the city for the first time can learn from your own experiences as well by reading the comments. So just write below. Do you consider that this museum is really worth 2,750 Turkish liras? Did you enjoy the visit? Yes or no? Let us know in comments below.
In the second part of this video, we'll be walking you through the harem, the most private area of the palace where the Sultan and his family used to live, including new sections that have recently opened to visitors for the very first time. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. So now you know exactly what to expect from the Topkapi Palace. No surprises, no regrets. See you in the next video. Bye bye!